President Museveni welcomed his Rwandan counterpart to Uganda and gave a brief history of their relationship with President Kagame and the people of Rwanda since the times of NRA.
Excellency Paul Kagame for responding positively to Moses' invitation and coming to pay a visit to Uganda.
Museveni congratulated General Muhoozi on his 48th birthday and revealed that his birth was a gift to the freedom fighter during their early days of the struggle.
Muhoozi was a gift to us in our young days of struggle.
Amidst a cheering audience, President Paul Kagame congratulated Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba for clocking 48 years and commended him for all his achievements.
What is true is that the 48 years have been used very well. And therefore, there is no doubt that many more years that we wish for him ahead are going to be used even better, in my view. Thank you for inviting me to be here for this birthday. So I'm really here for two major reasons. One is to celebrate with your parents, with your family, and your friends. Celebrate your birthday. But the second is to also be happy that I'm here again after 4 or 5 years. I hadn't been coming to Uganda.
The First Lady and Minister of Education and Sports, Honorable Janet Kataha Museveni, praised and thanked God for his provision and protection for their family that has enabled them to see their son clocking 48 years while still alive.
That's where I'm coming from. To say to Muhoozi today at 48 that because I know that God will never leave us, because he promised, it is his promise, that he will never leave us nor forsake us. I tell you, Muhoozi, that you must strive in all you do in this life.
On his part, the main celebrant, Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba, thanked God for giving him life this far and commended his parents for raising him and his siblings and providing for them in everything. General Muhoozi Kainerugaba also saluted President Paul Kagame for gracing this function.
I want to thank in a very special way His Excellency, President Paul Kagame, for honoring my invitation
Samuel Sendomo, UBC News.
President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni today received and held a meeting with President, I beg your pardon, today received and held a meeting with the President of the Republic of Rwanda, His Excellency General Paul Kagame, who has been in Uganda on a private visit. This morning, President Kagame called on President Museveni at State House Entebbe, during which the two leaders held a courtesy private meeting before President Kagame returned home. Accompanied by the Commander Land Forces and First Son, Lieutenant General Kainerugaba Muhoozi, President Kagame was received and welcomed to State House Entebbe by President Museveni, who later saw him off after his visit. President Kagame was on a private visit to Uganda at the invitation of President Museveni. He later attended a dinner hosted by President Museveni and First Lady Janet Museveni in honor of Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba. Over 30 members of parliament congregated at Uganda Matters Catholic Church Parish, Busesa, Kibale district to support a fundraising effort for the completion of a multi-million church complex. The fundraising was organized by Buyanja East MP Dr. Emyooga Gonza and was graced by Prime Minister Robin Nabanja among other dignitaries.
This fundraising effort, organized by the Buyanja East Member of Parliament, Dr. Emyooga Gonza, was graced by the Prime Minister Robin Nabanja, Finance Minister Matia Kasaija, State Minister for Transport Fred Byabakama, and a host of guest MPs from across the country.
Nengoza kusima abantu ba Buyanja obuli wenke simba nkajuka ke simba hano kabonesa mwampa 9 na mwenda 10 omunyezera yesimba na yakaitwaro hano mukyara Jennifer Mbabazi era mukampa 9 na mwenda 10 Jennifer munywani wanga ati kwasa ali Jennifer so bakutere kikondo kaula nengwa ati awo niwo kwenda kubaliza point yemu ngu muhuire bwoburu tulekeka kubazangana kubi kintu kibi muno ati singa yambalize kubi ati singa tukora tuta singa namubalize kubi singa tukora tuta tuli muntu ogu niyo kwenda kubasimira abantu ba Buyanja mwebale kutweta ebyo kubaza nyina bingi parishi modo mu gihondere.
Construction of this new multi-million church was initiated by the parishioners of Busesa. It requires a contract sum of 200 million shillings to complete within 2 months. Prime Minister Robin Nabanja lauded the people of Bunyoro sub-region for supporting government's development agenda. She contributed a total of 12 million shillings towards completion of the multi-million church complex.
Prime Minister
The Minister of Finance, Matia Kasaija, who is also Member of Parliament for Buyanja County, made a personal contribution of 4 million shillings and pledged to mobilize more resources to have the church completed on time. The guest MPs who attended the fundraising made generous contributions each. Over 100 million shillings was realized in cash after the fundraising session. The fundraising was preceded by a church service led by Monsignor John Kabyanga. He thanked all those who contributed towards this fundraising effort. Monsignor Kabyanga encouraged them not to live in a world of imaginary fear, but stay strong and contribute to national development. Later, the Prime Minister presided over Bugangaizi West Women Football Tournament.
She rallied
the people to embrace the parish development model project initiated by government. She contributed 10 million shillings as prize money for the competing teams.
Nkwenda kusima abantu nywenda kuija amukoro guno. Ngoza kusima mgenzi wange Fred kutekiza. tukwatagana kurungi kandi rero runukakubira bwetaakurakurane bali babantu kyine hakuba omwatu mwesije mukando yajweri nkabayo omwa Aisha nkabayo atindi nka omwani ati kanteke mwempule ndete munampachi ati Freddy emilioni 5 zinu data emilioni 5 zinu ogule pikipiki ye endi alafuka namba 2 na watu wali asimu awo tekerawo milioni 5 asimu yawo jajikebera gendo sebule baziyeyo buli timu eka omuzano buli timu enayefu n'akantu etaino n'akantu omuka niba omanyire koragabanizamu ezo milioni 10
Dorcas Kimono, UBC News.
The Uganda police has warned the general public about an emerging wave of criminality targeting motorists on major highways. Police spokesperson Fred Nanga in the weekly security media brief at Naguru told the media that this comes after an attempt to harm the principal judge, Dr. Flavian Zaija.
Now these are some of the metal shrapnels and pieces of aluminium which we recovered. These are not bullets. These are devices that are used in constructing these devices.
The attacks are done by planting sophisticated improvised explosive devices along major highways. Police have told journalists that over the weekend, the principal judge, Dr. Flavian Zaija, survived an attack at Kalanda Zibuama along Masaka Kampala Road.
Thorough assessment of the scene was conducted, where it was established that the attack was a result of devices planted under the road guardrail.
At first, judiciary released a statement indicating the principal judge was attacked by gunmen, which police has clarified after scene examination.
On their way, gunmen opened fire on their convoy. They first targeted to hit the tires, but they didn't get them, and they now started shooting randomly. We thank God that the vehicles were able to go through.
It was not by armed gunmen, but it was more from a roadside improvised explosive device.
The police also recovered remnants of the explosive and established its impact on the environment.
The explosive device was actually buried, and so the perpetrators had a remote, and so when the vehicle arrived at that stage, they detonated the IED, and then it went off. You can see how it damaged the guardrails. This is another photograph of the damage to the guardrail. This is another picture which shows how it dug below the guardrail.
Criminal investigations have confirmed as these kinds of attacks are becoming a threat, and on 17th of this month, the similar incident happened at Changoma, Rengo district, where an improvised explosive device exploded, hurting Busasira Alex while driving to Kampala.
In Luengo district, that is along the Masaka-Chinoni section, they were hit by an explosion which was detonated, and the shrapnels pockmarked their vehicles.
No one has so far been implicated. Abdul Nasser Lubwama, UBC News.
Health workers under the Allied Health, Ministry of Health will deploy surveillance teams in the border districts following the outbreak of Ebola in the northwestern Equator province of the Democratic Republic of Congo. The spokesperson, Ministry of Health, Emyooga, says that screening centers are in place at major border points.
Notified of the 14th Ebola outbreak in neighboring DRC, And as a country and the health system, we have already notified all the districts along the Congo border to ensure that they enforce screening and also undertake surveillance for Ebola for all those crossing into Uganda as a measure of stopping importation of the Ebola virus. And I want to state that Uganda does not have any Ebola outbreak. The country, we do not take for granted an Ebola outbreak in neighboring country. So that's why we have to reactivate all our surveillance system, our screening system at the major points of entry. For instance, Bunagana, where the refugees are crossing into Uganda side.
That's Emmanuel Nibiona, the spokesperson, Ministry of Health. Atomic Energy Council is steering the process of enhancing radiation officers to develop site security plans. The Chief Executive, Deogracius Luwadida, says that the plans to ensure radiation use and safety where high-end radiation machines are installed. Site security plans are a requirement under the Atomic Energy Act before licensing any facility intending to use radioactive resources.
Atomic Energy Council is training radiation officers that use radioactive materials to enhance nuclear security in their facilities of operation such that they are not compromised.
Like Uganda Cancer Institute, in its operations, it has radioactive materials. So those are some of the facilities. St. Mary's Hospital Acho is another facility, call it a site.
Other key players include security and agencies that have a role to play in protecting the facilities that use radioactive sources.
They needed to know what are site security plans, what are they about, how can they be implemented, and how can they support such arrangements.
Such a training is timely, as most facilities have been operating without site security plans.
And therefore what lacked was the competence to develop them. It doesn't mean that when you don't have it, you don't operate. You operate under tight supervision, but when it is there, there's more confidence that the security of the radioactive materials you are using is under control.
The Office of Radiological Security of U.S. Department of Energy is supporting Atomic Energy Council to develop guided documents to be issued to all facilities that use radioactive sources to develop their own site security plans. Mutonyi Hilda, UBC.
Lieutenant General Muhoozi Kainerugaba's 48th birthday celebration was taken to a new twist after the Kasese Muhoozi project team donated to the hospitalized in health facilities. During the celebrations, the group donated items including soap, sugar to expectant mothers and breastfeeding mothers at Weda General Hospital, as we see in this report.
As a sign of solidarity to the Commander Land Forces, Lieutenant General Kainerugaba Muhoozi, who was celebrating his 48th birthday, the Kasese Muhoozi project team donated essential items to the expectant mothers at Wera Hospital. This, according to the team patron Tumwine Edward, was to show the great work exhibited by mothers in upbringing of their children.
So we thought that let's share the love as we celebrate the birthday. When the man was born, the Lieutenant General was born and was brought up also by a woman also who managed to raise her where he is up to date. He has made it 48 years, and we gave it a thought like, no, let's go back and thank those women who are in labor who managed to make sure that at least they've bared and carried those babies for 9 months, and entirely they are there. We can relate them. Muhoozi, they managed to carry him on those 9 months where he is now, but our parents are there in our local village here. They have been yearning for help.
The beneficiaries, however, appreciated the gesture. Later, there was a grand opening of Kasese Muhoozi project offices in Bwera, presided over by Lieutenant Colonel I.B. Kaheru, the commanding officer, 5th Mountain Battalion.
This function communicates how the civilians relate with the UPDF, which was never before. And inviting me in particular to come and officially open this office is still another communication, the trust the people of Uganda, more especially the youth, have in the UPDF.
According to Lieutenant Kaheru, this portrays the relationship and trust Ugandans have in UPDF, which was never seen before.
Police in Moroto is worried about the increasing cases of burglary in the municipality. Karamoja Regional Police spokesperson Mike Longole says that the cases have been registered in Katanga, Singira and Camp Busy.
Karamoja sub-region has been experiencing cattle raids, yet now armed robbers have started house breaks and road ambushes.
They surveyed. There is nothing here. There's no soldiers. Instead, that day, we also have God that day, yesterday. Because soldiers were there. The soldiers were the one helped us yesterday. This man would have finished.
Residents in Moroto municipality say every night warriors terrorize them.
Security is too much. We are suffering. We are really suffering. We don't sleep. Every day our animals are removed. Chickens, shops are robbed. When trees are around 9 there, you know that you are not safe.
Security in Asholinia is very poor. But in fact, when these soldiers come, maybe they gather in one place. That's why they managed to kill that guy yesterday. But for us, we would like at least the government or the division commander to add more soldiers to help us to improve on the security.
Security killed one armed warrior as he tried to break into a bar in Moroto municipality, and a gun belonging to Uganda prisons was recovered.
We have identified the cattle rustler who was shot dead last night, the 24th of April 2022, in Acholini village, Rupa sub-county, Moroto district. And we recovered a gun with 5 rounds of ammunition as the son to Chairman LC1, Pupu village, Rupa sub-county in Moroto district.
Relatedly, last week, police says 533 cows were raided, and joint security forces in a rare case recovered over 781 cows, while 190 goats were raided and 274 were recovered.
The number, some of these cows were not reported. That's why you see we have recovered more than, because most of these cases of cattle rustling, most people don't report, and we end up recovering. But all these cows, the cows which were not reported, we take them to the holding ground. We inform the leaders from that area where we suspected that the animals were stolen. Then the leaders will come, they will bring the owners, they identify, and then we hand over to the owners. It does not mean that the cows which were not reported will be taken by other people.
In Bali, security and health authorities have intensified operations to weed out clinics that do not meet required standards of operation.
Prosimo Njuzi, the Deputy Resident City Commissioner in charge of Northern City Division, targeted all illegal medical practitioners that operate clinics with no operating licenses.
We have been getting complaints from the public
And when we went there, we found those medical workers there, they don't have practicing license. Even the clinic itself doesn't have the operating license. And when we went further to investigate, they registered as a clinic for radiography. We found when they do major operations, and the owner, we have detained him at the police station.
Dr. Moses Mugonyi, Mbale City Health Officer, identified the closed clinics as Doko, St. Andrews, Embago Victory Clinic, emphasizing they will not allow them operate unless if meet the required standards.
So in the course of today, we came across some of these clinics which are operating illegally, and one of which was Embago Clinic, which is behind me, and we closed it because it has not been having an operating license for well over 2 years. So we have closed the clinic till they have the proper documentation. That's when we shall allow it to operate in Mbale City.
The public has also been advised to seek medical treatment from government or any other recognized health facility if they are to save their lives.
I'm sending a warning to people outside there, to those medical practitioners outside there who are practicing it illegally. We are on their neck and we are ready to face them. I want to appeal to the public that before you go for some treatment or you go for a certain medical center, first of all, be vigilant enough. First find out whether those people who are working on you, they're really medical workers.
Ahmadiyya Muslims have prayed for peace and harmony to prevail in the war-ravaged Ukraine and the rest of the world. This special prayer advocacy was at the 8th Annual National Peace Symposium and iftar under the theme, Fundamentals of Establishing World Peace.
Islamic faith is a fundamental baseline to peace, love and submission of the believer's will to Allah. Promulgated by the Prophet Muhammad in Arabia in the 7th century, it is evident that preaching about peace takes a greater height, especially in the period of Ramadan, as one of the pillars of Islam. Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association has organized the 8th National Peace Symposium and Iftar to advocate for peace and stability in the most affected countries, with the Ukraine and Russian war taking the day's harmonization to end the insurgency.
Not presume or think that absence of war guarantees peace.
Different speakers talked about the origin of Ahmadiyya faith to the congregation. The day's speaker, Sheikh Ahmad Kairebate, preached against arrogance.
According to the verses of the Holy Quran and the teaching of the Holy Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, this is very dangerous because arrogance can't live hand in hand with peace.
The head Ahmadiyya Amil and missionary in charge Sheikh Muhammad Ali Kaire called for peace and justice among Muslims.
True peace starts with justice. And the starting point of peace is justice to ourselves, justice in our homes.
Sheikh Kaire also urged Muslims to always harmonize in times of conflict and disagreements.
Arguments, misunderstandings sometimes lead outright exchanges, and it may flare up, belching fire.
Agnes Chirabo Natongo, a representative of the Buganda Luchiko, who represented the State Minister Office of the President Diana Mutasingwa, advised youth to refrain from acts of protests and unrest that destabilize peace.
Many times we are unpeaceful, and the lack of war or not having a war in our country, it is not the only way we can confirm that we are peaceful.
The President Ahmadiyya Muslim Youth Association Uganda, Abdul Malik Senfuka, called for religious tolerance and respect of followers of other faiths.
Islam preaches religious tolerance. While people raise allegations and ridicule other regions in order to prove the superiority of their own regions, Islam completely rejects the notion of mocking other religions.
Ahmadiyya is a modern Islamic sect and a name shared by several Sufi, literally Muslim mystic orders. The sect was founded in the Punjabi, India in 1889 by Mirza Ghulam Ahmed. Ivan Juko, Edith Flower Namleme, UBC News.
Alui Seed Secondary School has been commissioned and handed over to government. Pakwach District Education Officer Christina Chayo says that students from this sub-county used to move long distances to access secondary school education.
The commissioning of Alui Seed Secondary School will enable more students access secondary education. Resident District Commissioner of Pakwach District, Paul Eseru, who represented the State Minister for Primary Education, Dr. Joyce Moriku, hailed government for considering Alui Sub-County in the U-Gift program.
In a special way, allow me to thank the Minister of Education and Sports for the continued support she has always given to the ministry. Allow me to thank His Excellency the President in a very special way for accepting to give us more than 2 billion to construct this school.
Pakwach District Education Officer Christine Achayo says lack of secondary schools in many sub-counties has proved expensive and forces parents to send their children to distant boarding schools.
This sub-county had a very big challenge before the construction of this school. Children from here, students had to move very long distance. The nearest school here is Pakwach Secondary School, which is about 10 kilometers. And when you move this side, the next school is Angal Secondary School in Nebi District, which is more than 10 kilometers. So it has been a very big challenge for students who cannot afford boarding.
Pakwach District Vice Chairperson Ben Owini appreciates the quality of infrastructure. Out of 10 sub-counties and 2 town councils in Pakwach District, there are 6 secondary schools, 4 found in Pakwach Town Council, 1 in Wadelai and Panyamur. Joseph Odama, UBC in Pakwach.
The NRM government emphasizes development of communities through appointment of leaders in various positions. This follows the recent reshuffle of RDCs, RCCs and their deputies.
The greater Ruwero districts of Nakaseke, Nakasongola and Ruwero are pioneer districts in the 1981-86 liberation war of the NRA led by President Yoweri Museveni. In these districts, there are still challenges that hinder survival delivery, like poor roads and lack of safe clean water. Government has extended electricity to rural areas, sunk boreholes. The Nakaseke District NRM supporters, led by the woman member of parliament, Sarah Najuma, and State Minister for Kampala Metropolitan, Chofatogabye Kabuye, held a meeting to thank President Museveni for appointing 5 RDCs from the area.
RDCs and other placements like Under Secretary Dr. Semos is from Nakaseke. For Nakaseke is for NRA. But as government, we have to focus on service delivery, especially tamaking the roads of Chisule, Kapeka, Ngomalwero, Butalangu, Kapeka, Butalangu.
She, however, advised youth to form groups so as to get government support. State Minister for Kampala Metropolitan, Chofatogabye Kabuye, commended the government for constructing the industrial park in Nakaseke to employ youth.
The achievement achieved by the newly elected RDCs, and also to appreciate again His Excellency the President for having considered Kapeka, and he decided to establish an industrial center around this place. Generally, it was the general achievements of NRA so far done in our district.
Mtonyi Hilda, Mfano Mkasibante, UBC.
Let's take a short break. Don't miss what we have on return.
Today in history.
On 25th April 1991, a record crowd attended the burial of Prince Badiluka Kongolo at Chibuli Hill. Prince Badiluka Kongolo died on 24th April 1991 at Chibuli Muslim Nursing Home at the age of 84. President Museveni was one of the thousands who paid their last respect to the prince. President Museveni described Kakongulu as a wise man and a freedom fighter in his speech.
Pay for your dream phone, Mpola. Get your dream phone today for as low as 1,400 Uganda shillings with free data for a year and pay slowly. All phones come with daily 50 MBs for 12 months. Repayment period is 1 year. Available at MTN service centers and M-Copper shops.
Football packages, great entertainment, sports, the local content, telenovela, the movies. There is something for everybody. Go TV, this is where great stories live.
Get the best entertainment for any budget. With GoTV, you will have great entertainment for as little as 13,000 Uganda shillings per month. GoTV, great stories, Zidiwano. GoTV Uganda, love it.
Get connected today with the My Airtel 4G smartphone and enjoy free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 Uganda shillings. That's free 2 GB for the first month and free 1 GB for the next 11 months at only 250,000 Uganda shillings with free data for 1 whole year worth 86,500 shillings, making the effective price of the 4G phone 163,500 shillings only. Airtel, the smartphone network.
It's no secret that ICT makes learning easy.
The strides made in our field could not be possible without it.
And now we can watch our favorite shows.
My radio is my best friend.
UCC provides an enabling regulatory environment and policy guidance for healthy competition. We also facilitate ease of doing business in the communications sector through licensing, standardization, spectrum management, tariff regulation, rural communication development, and consumer empowerment. An informed consumer is an empowered consumer. UCC supports local content and innovations. Driving the development of a robust communication sector in Uganda is Uganda Communications Commission.
Even with my grandson, a doctor at my side, I struggled to get the help I needed. But he saw something that day. He began to work day and night. He wouldn't quit, even when people said no. He wouldn't stop fighting. He knew something had to change, and his vision was bigger than anyone could imagine. He made it possible to receive quality medical services anywhere in Uganda by simply using a phone.
This is a story of a regular Ugandan just like you, who harnessed the power of technology to provide a solution for us. How about you tell us your story? UG needs more of you. To share your story, visit airtel.co.ug/UG needs more of you or call or SMS 162. Airtel, the smartphone network.
The controversy surrounding the coffee industry in Uganda has left many Ugandans at crossroads, especially those in the industry, both directly or indirectly. Questions are being asked but answers are still scarce and not convincing.
Uganda is among the largest coffee-growing country in the world. However, the industry is now under spotlight following its withdrawal from the international platforms. Despite hiccups at play in Uganda's coffee exporting industry, we attempt to establish how the industry has tremendously improved, making the Pearl of Africa nation the second largest coffee exporting country in Africa and 8th in the world. This is formerly the premises of the Uganda Coffee Marketing Board, which was run under the setting of the cooperatives. But when cooperatives were suppressed in this country, this was turned into the Uganda Coffee Processing Factory.
This is the Arabica, what we call the washed Arabicas. So we buy the parchment from the farmers, we come and mill it and get the green tin, then we bread to get the double egg.
On a daily basis, we are told that almost 100 tons of coffee bags are processed and ready for export.
Our machine here has capacity of 7 tons per hour.
However, all these, according to sector players, are likely to be hunted following Uganda's withdrawal from the coffee exporting platform.
There was no reason why, if we continued to negotiate with the African countries to buy our coffee, we needed to exit the European Union, the International Coffee Agreement.
Government failure to consult stakeholders in the coffee industry is presumed as a first-hand mistake.
Yes, that was a mistake.
Exporters, however, are optimistic that the decision might be reviewed.
We still think that it is still on the table of UCDA. They have not said no, we are not rethinking of rejoining. So we think maybe it will do what? It will happen.
As the country cries for over the ISO exit, the parcelling out of the entire coffee exporting for Uganda's coffee industry to the international level by a hand-picked company, Vinci Uganda Limited, amidst a purported signed clumsy agreement with the Uganda government, is another move putting the office of the Attorney General in bad light with several unanswered questions.
We have encouraged farmers to become professional, commercial farmers. So farmers are now planting coffee and thinking 20 years ahead, 10 years ahead. Now, if you bring a new buyer and you are reinforcing that buyer saying you have to give this person the coffee before selling elsewhere. So these are things we think government should come out and explain.
Contestation is on clause 4.2, where coffee supply and export is entirely monopolized.
Government of Uganda undertakes that it will take all reasonable measures to give priority of supply of coffee to the company. And company here they are referring to Vinci Coffee Company. Before registering any contracts or acknowledging any arrangements for the export of coffee beans.
According to Amos Kasiji, one of the lead sector players, the deal automatically leaves no option on board.
When the farmers process the coffee, they don't process screen 18 only. So a farmer will come, they mill their coffee, that coffee has got screen 15, 18, 12, even undergrades. So when these companies start to buy the screen 18s, where are we putting the other grades?
This morning, the NRM chairperson, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, has summoned the party parliamentary caucus, and top on the agenda is the controversial coffee agreement signed by the Attorney General to commit the country to a monopoly, which is in total breach of the principles of a free market economy. Robert Onyango, UBC News.
The rapid progress of the SACCOs has raised eyebrows and fascinated thousands as beneficiaries of the presidential initiative for wealth and job creation narrate the success story of their lucrative businesses triggered by the Emyooga funds. This was witnessed as the microfinance team reached the ground check stage of the performance monitoring program in the Rwenzori sub-region, as we see in this report.
The 3.1 billion shillings received by Kasese district was distributed to the 5 constituencies making up the district and the Obusinga Bwarenzururu SACCOs.
As we hit the grounds of the enterprises of the members, the basic question we ask is, to what extent has this money help the beneficiaries.
I've managed to employ even 3 people to help me in my business. And I have managed to make 2 stores in that 10 million that I'm having now. One is in Kasese, another one is in Fort Potro, Mukusu Market.
People living with disabilities are among the beneficiaries. They explain how they broke the glass ceiling and changed people's lives through providing the carpentry skills to address high dependency ratios in their households.
Kubanga nti wetuleta abaana abo ne basoma kumala okusoma ne bagenda kukola esente ne bayamba bakitaabo aba family zaabwe.
The performance of my people, we received the seed capital of 30 million, whereby at least now people are getting, they are now working well in the organization because we are saving from the date from last year in January when we received the money. At least now we have saved more than 6 million as our savings.
The boda industry had shrunk in Impondwe at the border of Uganda and DRC. But since the Emyooga program came to life, the industry's renewal is seen and felt.
Kwa pesa hii nimepata vitu vingi sana. Nilikuwa niko na business wangu budogo, lakini pesa ya Emyooga ili support hii business zangu zingine. Kwa pesa za Emyooga nimesapata, nilifanyisa hizo pesa kidogo zenye nilifanyizisa zikakuwa nyingi, nikapata pikipiki, nimenunua pikipiki Senge.
The Microfinance Support Center vowed to honor its promise of adding more funds to the SACCO's recovering loans and saving hugely in a bid to expand enterprises and create jobs for many across the Rwenzori sub-region. Wadulo Makanold, Kagolo Joshua for UBC News.
Need to send money to a loved one but you don't have enough on your phone? Have you run out of fuel but you don't have enough money? Do you want to pay for yaka or water but have insufficient funds? Or do you want to shop but you don't have enough money? Don't worry, get away with MTN Momo Advance. Momo Advance tops up your Momo to complete your transactions. Dial *165*5*3# to apply. MTN Momo Advance is always available when you need it.
A World Cup in the desert? The first one in the Middle East. The first to be held at the end of the year? That's crazy. Get ready for spectacular moves, high-flying saves, unbelievable goals, out-of-this-world celebrations.
Would you believe it? What a moment here!
All 64 matches live. That's over 5,000 action-packed minutes of the FIFA 2022 World Cup Qatar. Now that's crazy. Catch all the action only on SuperSport, your world of champions. On Go TV. Love it.
Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans. Get a top-up loan when you have insufficient funds to buy airtime, pay utility bills, or make payments at a local supermarket. Complete your transaction and pay later. Dial *185*7*10# to opt in. Get an Airtel Money Quick Loan and pay later. Choose our with Airtel Money Quick Loans in partnership with Housing Finance Bank and powered by Yabex. Airtel, the smartphone network.
COVID-19 is still here with us. As Professor Maggie Chigozi states, the time is now for all of us to get vaccinated.
When we have one person who's not vaccinated, it affects everybody around them, most especially the ones close to you. Keep your family safe. Anyone right now who's over 18 should go and get vaccinated.
Because of the new COVID-19 circulating variants like Omicron, it is very important for all of us to be fully vaccinated with 2 doses of the same vaccine type. It's only those getting Johnson & Johnson who receive only a single dose to be fully protected.
Even after vaccination, continue to adhere to all SOPs by wearing a mask properly, covering your mouth and nose, washing your hands regularly with soap and clean water or using an alcohol-based sanitizer, maintaining physical distance of at least 2 meters from others and avoiding crowds. Echa COVID-19, chija kugwa. This message is from the Ministry of Health with support from UNICEF and partners.
The 2022 Uganda Senior Secondary School Association National Boys Football Championship is now destined for the round of 16. The tournament is running in Arua City with Mvara Senior Secondary School as the host.
After a week of intense action in the group stages, the 2022 Uganda Senior Secondary Schools Association Boys Football Championship now has a semblance of which teams will progress to the knockout round. One such school that has secured passage to the round of 16 is two-time champion Budo SS. They are sealed passage after a 2-0 victory over Bulege Comprehensive.
Actually, this way we're well prepared for it, and it was a sure win for us, and we have picked the win. So right now we are on the table, we are waiting for the next game tomorrow, which one is going to be a sure win. I'm a player of Budo SS.
Goals by Eddie Semandeka and Ronnie Ziraba were all Budo needed to progress, with a game against Goods Hope to spare.
I'm happy for the win, for the result and the performance of the boys. It is an opportunity for us to move closer to our objectives. The first objective is to move out of the group, topping it and getting closer to achieving our main objective, that is winning the championship. Now we are halfway the journey, so it is an opportunity to focus to the next game ahead of us, that is tomorrow, finishing the group and playing the round of 16.
In some of the other games played, St. Ponsiano edged Nyamityanga by 3-0 to boost their chances ahead of the final group game with the St. Jude SS on Tuesday.
We have won this game 3-0. The reason we have been working together, coordinating, following coaches' instructions, and working as a team.
And I'm also happy because we have collected all the mistakes which have been in their previous games. We have scored 3 goals, which is going to help us to see that we can qualify in this group.
The round of 16 starts on Tuesday in Arua City, with other teams through being St. Mary's Kitende, Royal Giant, Kawempe, Kibuli, Mukono Kings, St. Henry's College Kitovu, and Ginger SS.
We thank you so much for having been part of the bulletin. My name is Michael Jordan Lukoma. With the whole team here, wish you the best of the night. Bye-bye.
Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. The second reason as to why we fast. We fast because we need Allah to elevate our levels of Iman. We all know we go through a lot, different tests here and there. As we go on, our levels of Iman keep on getting down. But as we do fast, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala promises us that through fasting, our levels of Iman and Taqwa are going to be high. لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ. Perhaps as we fast, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will be in position to bless us with Taqwa within our hearts and souls. So if you ask today, why do you observe fasting? Why do you live out drinks, eats during daytime in Ramadan. Tell them that you really need to elevate your levels of taqwa, your levels of iman. And this is one of the reasons as to why we Muslims, we do consider fasting, specifically the holy month of Ramadan. I request Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to bless us with taqwa amidst our fasting of this noble month of Ramadan. Wa barakallahu fikum. Wassalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.
Brought to you by UBC TV and Star TV in partnership with Foundation, Muslim Convertibility.
From the UBC Auditorium is proudly brought to you by
I love you. You wish.
When I say, now let's talk. No song, but so we go. Everybody like one more cool. See talk. Hurry. Cola, more party. Big up to Shiva Holy Man. Lord. Okay. Now let's talk to everybody from wherever you're watching us from. Why are you ready to get along? How we go like one? Chini kwatini, chini kwatini, chini kwatini, chini kwatini, chini. 2020. Wana kwa chini kwa chini. Bam 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 bam. Chini kwa chini. Chini kwa chini. Chini kwa chini. How we go chini kwa chini. How we go? Twende juu. Come up here. Somebody. Ukitoka shikilia chini. Una miaka 80 ama 40. Kata kiuno kama una mashini. Nisisi tena meja na machizi. Combination utachizi. Weka manzipo mani peleke misi. How we go like? Ule dema kona micro mini. So we go like? Anakubamba piga kiswahili. Running up, cut it. Kama umekwama fanya hivi. One on. Nyongwa. Nyongwa, everybody. Nyongwa. 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 On a suit, because in the beauty. Let me see right now. What everybody, let me see you now. Economic. Ready, Kenzo. Hey, what everybody. Ameru muchas my baby. Tunai bamu. Ono kwemulaba. Atamola shi my baby. Sing it loud. Tinkwenda. Hey. Amugamba ho